beauty will save the world. But what if it doesn't? What if beauty, innocence, and goodness only get you betrayed, mocked, or broken? That's the disturbing truth at the heart of Fyodor Dostoevsky's novel, The Idiot, a story that dares to ask, is it possible to stay truly good in a world that's anything but cruel? Or worse, is goodness itself a kind of curse? In a society obsessed with power, pride, and self-interest, Dostoevsky introduces us to a character who seems to come from another planet, Prince Myshkin. Dostoevsky once described him as the positively good and beautiful man. But instead of being admired, people used to say to him, "You're too good to be true." And slowly, that goodness becomes his downfall. This isn't just a fictional tragedy. Dostoevsky poured his own pain and philosophical struggles into this novel. The Idiot isn't just about one man. It's about how the world treats those who try to live with moral clarity. It shows us what happens when someone refuses to lie, scheme, or dominate, and chooses instead to love, forgive, and suffer with others. This is what I'm going to discuss in this video as well, but first let's go through the novel itself so we can understand better. It begins with a man on a train. Prince Lev Nikolaevich Myshkin is returning to Russia after years in a Swiss sanatorium where he was treated for epilepsy, just like Dostoevsky himself. Myshkin is not your typical aristocrat. He is pure, kind, painfully honest, and almost childlike in his moral clarity. On his journey, he meets Parfen Rogozhin, a wealthy heir consumed by obsessive love for a woman named Nastasya Filippovna. Upon arriving in St. Petersburg, Myshkin visits General Yapanchin, a distant relative, and meets the three Yapanchin daughters, especially the youngest, Aglaya, an intelligent woman who is both drawn to and confused by his goodness. But at the center of the storm is Nastasya. Beautiful, sharp, and deeply scarred by years of abuse, she's caught between two forces, one that wants to control her and one that wants to save her. Totsky, her former guardian, tries to marry her off to Ganya for status. Rogozhin offers to buy her outright. And in a shocking moment at her birthday gathering, Myshkin offers to marry her, not out of desire or ambition, but out of genuine love and pity. Nastasya, unable to process such sincerity, throws the money at Ganya and runs off with Rogozhin instead. Her self-destruction begins, and Myshkin's downfall with it. Over time, Myshkin inherits wealth, attracting people who seek to manipulate or exploit him. Yet he forgives and helps even those who mock or betray him. Aglaya, meanwhile, admires his virtue, but resents his passivity. Their relationship turns into a painful push and pull, drawn by admiration, broken by frustration. And Myshkin still longs to save Nastasya, even as she spirals deeper into despair. Eventually, all three, Myshkin, Aglaya, and Nastasya, meet in a moment of raw, unresolved emotion. Aglaya realizes she cannot compete with Nastasya's haunting presence and leaves Myshkin for good. Myshkin and Nastasya plan to marry, but on the wedding day, she flees with Rogozhin once more. Days later, Rogozhin murders her in a jealous rage. And what does Myshkin do when he finds him? He sits beside Rogozhin, his enemy, a murderer, and holds him. He wipes his tears. He forgives him. Once again, Myshkin offers love in the face of hate, but this time it breaks him completely. By the end, Myshkin is no longer a radiant symbol of goodness. He returns to the sanatorium, consumed by madness and grief. The people he tried to help are left to confront the wreckage of their own cruelty and chaos. In this novel, Dostoevsky doesn't give us a hero's triumph. He gives us a warning. He's asking us, what happens when you drop a truly good person into a world ruled by ego and power? What if kindness isn't rewarded, but crushed? What if sincerity isn't seen as strength, but as stupidity? Let's try to answer these questions in the next part of the video. I am a fool with a heart but no brains, and you are a fool with brains but no heart. This brutally honest line from Prince Myshkin reveals the central paradox of the idiot. In a world driven by ego, those with genuine hearts are often labeled as fools. From the very beginning, Dostoevsky sets Myshkin apart. He's not clever in the way society wants him to be. He doesn't lie, manipulate, or chase status. Instead, he loves without condition, forgives without hesitation, and tells the truth without calculating the consequences. In a room full of schemers, he's the only one playing no game at all. And for that, they call him an idiot. Characters like Ganya and even Aglaya's own mother ridicule Myshkin, not because he's unintelligent, but because he refuses to use his intelligence for self-interest. He speaks with sincerity. He intervenes with compassion. He trusts people who don't deserve it. And every time he does, he offends someone's pride, disrupts someone's plan, or breaks an unspoken social rule. Take Ganya, for example. When Myshkin disrupts his attempt to marry Nastasya for money, Ganya is so enraged he slaps Myshkin in the face. Myshkin doesn't react with anger. He doesn't retaliate. He just forgives again and again. It's not that Myshkin lacks insight, quite the opposite. Critics and readers alike have noted that beneath his soft demeanor lies incisive intellect, deep emotional intelligence, and a wisdom that far surpasses most around him. He sees the truth about people, often more clearly than they see it themselves, but instead of using that knowledge to exploit or protect himself, he responds with empathy. Always. And that's exactly why the world turns on him. Dostoevsky wanted to test what would happen if a purely good man, like Christ, walked among ordinary, flawed people. Would they follow him, admire him, change for the better? No, they'd crush him, because as this novel painfully shows, kindness without armor is dangerous. The more Myshkin forgives, the more he's mocked. The more he loves, the more he suffers. And in trying to heal others, he ends up destroyed himself. This contradiction hits especially hard in his relationship with Aglaya. She admires his purity, but also resents it. She wants a man who can stand up for himself, who has backbone, someone who won't just let the world trample over him. She calls him an idiot, not because he lacks sense, but because he won't fight back. In another moment, Myshkin offers to marry Nastasya not out of ambition, but pure compassion. He sees her brokenness and wants to save her from it. And what happens? She runs away with Rogozhin, the man who will eventually murder her. Myshkin's goodness doesn't save her. It terrifies her. Why? Because true goodness is confronting. It holds up a mirror and asks people to rise above their pain, their pride, their habits, and most of the time, they can't. Even modern readers can feel this tension. We want to root for Myshkin. We want to believe that kindness wins. But deep down, we know the truth. Being this good, this honest, this open, will only get you hurt. And in a world where goodness looks like foolishness, nothing stays consistent. It shows how flip-flop this world is, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Lack of originality has always been considered the foremost quality of the active, efficient, and practical man. The world punishes goodness, not because it's evil, but because it doesn't fit within a system built on contradiction and pretense. That's the second major theme of The Idiot. A world so morally confused and emotionally unstable that even the purest heart can't survive it untouched. Everyone in the novel is a walking contradiction. They say one thing, do another, and change course before finishing a thought. Dostoevsky doesn't just create complicated characters. He captures human inconsistency as a condition of modern life. Start with Myshkin, our so-called idiot. He doesn't love like a romantic hero. He sees damaged souls and feels compelled to heal them. His heart is split between Nastasya and Aglaya, not from indecision, but compassion. He tries to rescue Nastasya from her shame while honoring Aglaya's dignity. In doing both, he alienates them both. His love becomes a duty, and it costs him everything. On the other hand, Nastasya is chaos in human form, rejecting Myshkin because she feels too ruined to be loved, then running to Rogozhin, knowing he'll destroy her. Aglaya is pride masked as purity. She admires Myshkin's honesty, yet resents his passivity, loving him one moment and mocking him the next. Rogozhin is violent obsession. He doesn't want Nastasya free. He wants to own her, and when he can't, he kills her. Even the supporting characters follow this pattern. Ganya wants status, but can't face moral scrutiny. The Apanchins speak of virtue, but cling to appearances. Dostoevsky isn't just critiquing people. He's exposing a society addicted to contradiction, a world that says it values kindness, but rewards cruelty, that preaches humility, but elevates arrogance, that mocks sincerity, then cries out for truth in its absence. That quote about lack of originality being the ideal trait of a practical man, it's Dostoevsky's dark joke. In this world, it's not brilliance or goodness that brings success, it's conformity. People don't want truth, they want smooth lies that preserve the illusion of order. And someone like Myshkin, who can't lie or pretend, must be dismissed as an idiot. The real madness Dostoevsky shows us is not Myshkin's kindness, but the world's flip-flopped sense of virtue. A world where emotional instability and moral inconsistency are the norm. Myshkin becomes an outlier, not because he's flawed, but because the world makes goodness look ridiculous. So when chaos erupts, when relationships crumble, when violence explodes, it's not because of Myshkin's actions. It's because his presence exposes how deeply broken everyone else is, and the world punishes him the only way it knows how. Seeing this flip-flopped nature of the world, few questions arise. Can you even live authentically in such a world? Or is choosing your own path just another way to get lost? Let's talk about that now. One can't understand everything at once. In order to reach perfection, one must begin by being ignorant of a great deal. What makes the idiot so powerful, so painfully real, is its refusal to sugarcoat life. There's no magical rescue, no false triumph of good over evil, just the raw truth. When a genuinely kind person enters a world ruled by ego, greed, and suffering, kindness alone isn't enough. Prince Myshkin enters that world with one gift, a heart that wants to heal. He believes people can be saved through love and goodness, but Dostoevsky shows how that belief crumbles when surrounded by people trapped in trauma, pride, and fear. Take Rogozhin, wealthy, obsessed, spiritually sick. He doesn't love Nastasya, he devours her, and when he can't possess her, he destroys her. His passion isn't deep, it's consuming, a reminder that power and money can't cure inner chaos. Then there's Nastasya Filippovna, beautiful, intelligent, but shattered. Years of abuse have poisoned her self-worth. Myshkin's unconditional love feels like mockery to her. She can't believe she's worthy of it, so she rejects him, over and over. Not because she doesn't want love, but because she's been taught to ruin it before it ruins her. And Ippolit, perhaps the most underrated and haunting figure. A dying teenager, already disillusioned, he sees through society's lies about hope and meaning. In one of the book's most painful scenes, he tries to take his life in front of everyone, not for attention, but to make them feel the weight of existence, and no one knows how to respond. This is where Dostoevsky dismantles the illusion of free will. The characters aren't making choices, they're reacting. Wounded by shame, ego, or fear, they follow old patterns they can't escape. But the idiot isn't saying free will doesn't exist. It's saying free will is hard. It means choosing love when hate feels safer, choosing peace when war is easier, choosing to forgive when you're bleeding. And that kind of courage? The world doesn't honor it. It punishes it. It mocks it. It calls it foolishness. It calls it idiocy.